All right.
Of course. One thing we cannot do is forget about the men's side of things.
Mhm.
Uh, NCAA tournament, Gonzaga played up against UCLA, and one of the biggest stories of the weekend was Jalen Suggs' amazing shot for the win uh, against Gonzaga. Him, Timme played well as a couple other guys at Gonzaga. And man, UCLA was balling though. UCLA was definitely balling, I think. But Jalen Suggs is the guy I got as my number two pick, man. Possibly number three, but definitely he's going top five. Uh, he's in that conversation for my third favorite guard in the college game right now.
Mhm.
Uh, well, actually, in the college game, I might have to give him number two, right behind Cade. Uh, but man, he's been doing his thing as Gonzaga has etched out early to a record-breaking season. And it seems like they just cannot be stopped. Everything just seems to be going in their way. What do y'all think about the game over this past weekend?
I would say I would say it was an amazing game. Amazing game. First off, for both teams, UCLA have been balling all season long. It's March Madness for a reason, y'all. It's March Madness for a reason. UCLA getting all the way to the Final Four. Major, major like approval, applause. Yeah, major applause. I gotta give it up to them. Um, they put up a fight. They put up a
Definitely.
fight against Gonzaga. Gonzaga have been winning all year long, undefeated.
Mm-hmm.
I thought there was no undefeated teams left in college basketball, but to see Gonzaga was remaining, that is really awesome. But the whole thing is UCLA knew that they would have a dogfight in Gonzaga when they came into the game. Knew it was going to be a dogfight. And Jalen Suggs, like you said, real great player, real great talent. Definitely going top five in the draft. I could definitely see that, especially
Certainly.
after his performance during the tournament. And then it'll be great to see how he does in the championship game. But the fact that he came through when his team needed it, defensive plays. It wasn't just the offense. Like yes, we saw the game winner, which we're going to see in a few minutes. But his defense at the end too was absolutely huge for his team. Needed it, and real leader, real vocal leader for his team. He doesn't want to go home, and neither do his teammates do. But I'll just say the fact that they gutted out the win. Uh, Jalen Suggs just came through. I mean, it would have just been extra time. That's all it would have been. If Jalen Suggs had missed the shot, would have been extra time. But the
True.
fact that he channeled his inner Kobe, he didn't care. Called Kobe on that shot, and he banked in the game winner. I didn't think the bank account would be open. Didn't think it would be open, but it was, and really clean look at it. Made the shot. Hopefully, the national championship game could be something like this game. I'll say that it was very exciting. Uh, but I say if it's like anything like what we saw with UCLA and Gonzaga, I want to watch it.
Primetime TV.
Ooh, first of all, I want to congratulate UCLA and I want to spotlight Jamie Jasquez and Johnny Juzang because I mean we are mentioning this buzzer beater, but Johnny
Uh-huh.
he tied the game back up 90-90 with that layup.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I agree with you. Ben Suggs is the ultimate stud. I mean, excuse me, Suggs is the ultimate stud. I think we're really like what points out to me or like was very like flashy in my opinion is his competitive nature. And like you said, Dan, his will to win, like because he averaged, I want to say like 12 or 14 points in the tournament. So like he's giving you decent numbers, but like it's just like you said, like the intangibles, diving on the floor, going for loose rebounds, and just like you said, those hustle plays that really aren't on the spreadsheet or that aren't really, glamorized. I think he has that, and the fact that he is that vocal leader, and that all these sophomores and juniors, because this is a very veteran team, they just gravitate towards him and allow him to kind of lead, and they follow in a certain degree. Jalen Suggs made a great pick of going to Gonzaga because it fits his play style. And the way Mark Williams, I believe, or the way he plays. It was a blockbuster of a game. I couldn't expect any more. I said a Snapchat saying cheers for a good game after watching the Baylor and Houston game. This was down to the wire, man. This is kind of crazy. Dang, I did have Cade Cunningham definitely first, but I like Sharif Cooper as well. But I think I'm gonna give this the slight edge to Jalen Suggs being number 2 to me as well. Definitely top 5 pick, lottery for sure, if he chooses to go. Say he doesn't come back. But yeah, man, this is a great, impactful game. That shot, I mean, they were comparing it to Christian Laettner's shot for Duke, but I mean, who's to say they would lose in overtime? Who knows? But that was just amazing. He's similar to Paige Bucher to me, like just with that poise, like from the first game, like he's just like it almost didn't seem like it phased him. Now, granted, people are gonna say, well, he's in a lesser conference because you know the teams he play, like St. Mary's and those, which are great programs, but they aren't quote unquote the top tier cream of the crop teams in the NCAA. But what are they, like 29 or 30 and like they're undefeated this season, so it's like they're still doing what they were doing. It didn't matter. But amazing game. Can't wait to see them play against that high-powered offense in Baylor.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see what Drew Timme is going to do that 4 spot, because I believe he got the Karl Malone Award. So I mean, hey, great basketball by both teams. Just like you said, that it wasn't a pressurized shot. It was either you're going to make it and win or you go to overtime. But
also true.
Hey, salute to him, Jay Buckets. I mean, hey.
I have a question then. So, are we saying that Gonzaga's perfect season continues and ends on the right note with the championship, or are we going to say that it's going to come to an end?
See, I think that's a tough pick to make. Of course, I'm just gonna ride with the team I picked a long time ago. I picked Gonzaga to remain undefeated. We've seen it before where a lot of these Cinderella endings to a season end and not quite a Cinderella note for that team. Because like I said, at the end of the day, the way that the NCAA tournament is set up, it is not actually designed in favor of essentially the better team. It depends on who's going to have that better night, man. Like I said, especially Gonzaga having that bullseye on their back, it, like I said, does bring an interest on when you have to come to play, not only from the start of the game to the very end of the game, every possession, you got to make sure you are locked in and ready to go. Because, of course, they are going to have that bull on their back. And I definitely wouldn't count out Baylor. They are a team full of athletes. They are guys that want to get after it every second, every moment of the game. And I specifically want to point out Mark Vital. I think that's going to be a guy who's probably going to get the assignment on Jalen Suggs. And he is a guy that literally lives, breathes, sleeps defense and effort. So he's a pure athlete. I could definitely see him trying to rattle Suggs a little bit, and I think that's going to be a great testament for not only Jalen Suggs, but a lot of the roster on that team is, like I said, that high-powered offense, but also the athleticism that they bring and effort they have. Defense for Baylor should be a good one, but I got to stick with my pick. I got to give it to Gonzaga.
Dang, man. I mean, you covered a lot of bases. I want to say it's going to be tough, bro. I'm like, Ben, I might have Gonzaga edge, but what's really a hindrance for me is we've seen in the past Gonzaga has not won championships, and they've gone just as far as this has happened.
Yeah.
So we'll see, if their veteran presence or if they'll change the story from what we've known in the past. But that Baylor Bears team, man, offensively, they have I believe they had a score like 100 or 115 on Houston. Man, Gerald Butler and Davion Mitchell, they got to stop them 2 guards, man. I mean, it's definitely going to be a high scoring game. They can, I feel like the difference is going to be defense and just like the extra hustle plays. Like Ben pointed out, I mean, I believe it's Mark Vital, like you said, or it was like they have Baylor has some forward. He can he can guard all 5 positions, man. And like the length and athleticism that Baylor wants to use and get out down the floor and go. That's going to be something I think Gonzaga really hasn't seen throughout the duration of the season. It's going to be a true testament to, like you said, capitalize the season. I honestly, I'm going with Gonzaga, but I don't know who's going to win. This is actually a coin flip for me, man, because, I mean, just that high-powered offense and, like you said, the athleticism and length that Baylor has, the intangibles people don't really pay attention to. It's going to be tough, man. It's going to be a great game. That's all I can say about that one. What you think it's going to be, Dan the Man?
I feel like it's going to be a tight one. I have not watched enough Baylor basketball to really be able to describe them. So the way y'all just described them to me, it sounds like that they're going to give Gonzaga a really good game. It's not going to be a blowout. Like the fact that Baylor took it to Houston, and Houston has been a great team, like all season long, and they took it to them like that. I will say that is definitely going to be a close game, but I feel like Jalen Suggs, I feel like everybody on the Gonzaga Bulldogs roster know that they just got one more game to pull out to win the championship, and I think they don't want their whole season to end. So I say because of that, Gonzaga's going to pull it out. But I'd say the game will be decided by like maybe 5 points. And the fact that I'm seeing right now that Baylor was up by like 25 on Houston at the half, that's tough. That's tough. But I would say though that Gonzaga's going to come to play. I don't think Houston was ready, but Gonzaga's going to come ready to play.
Mm-hmm. I gotta agree there. Like I said, it's just the effort of the team of the day, man, who ends up playing better. And like I said, that the advent of having the crowd can be an addition and an assistance for either team, and the lack of that crowd can be an addition or assistance for the other team. So, like I said, Houston being down like that, getting down early, that pressure will start to seep in. You don't get a little bit of that extra juice, that extra jump from the crowd, it's real easy to start going down and kind of start putting your head down early. So, and vice versa. So it'll be a good one. Typically, like I said, you can have your games where like your Gonzaga, you have that, a thrill and rush from having a big game like that where you end on a game-winning shot. And likewise from Baylor, you can have that thrill and that rush from just absolutely being better than your opponent that previous night, And like I said, it's just going to come out how they end up playing. Man, sometimes, historically, it looks like the guys that end up kind of taking it to the wire, going down a battle like that, it can take a lot out of you. And, maybe the next game is a little bit of a slack. And vice versa. There's going to be a game where you end up automatically destroying your opponent, and you feel as if you can't be touched. So you might come to the game a little bit of slack. It definitely is something that I think can go either way. But like I said, the kind of athletes that Baylor has, as well as a high-powered offense that both teams can play, I think is going to be big. I will say Gonzaga's going to have to guard this game. So that's going to be interesting to see and like I said, depending on how I think it's just going to come down to fouls and who's making shots, essentially. Because Baylor, like I said, will compete defensively. But it's going to be interesting to see how they are when it comes to making shots on this game, and then how Gonzaga is going to come down to defense. Of course, that's typically, I think, something that you're obviously going to see in every game. But the biggest point is just being able to see who's going to do the intangibles and extras. Is it going to be a game that comes down to star power? Your Jalen Suggs, guys like that hitting game-winning shots, and, making big plays on the stretch, or is it going to be, guys stepping up and coming to play? So I think it'll be interesting to see. But I gotta still, I still gotta keep with my original pick at Gonzaga.
Also, shout out to Minnesota Hoopers because Paige Bucher and Jalen Suggs.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
That state right there, man.
That might just be the new Who state.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, that's a tough one. Tough one.
Oh no.